Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to another live stream on the channel. A bit earlier than usual tonight, of course, is Matchday. Leicester City host Tranmere tonight in the Carabao Cup. But as far as I'm concerned, I think the transfer news is probably a bit more important than tonight's game. Obviously, it's only the Carabao Cup. We need to focus on staying up in the Premier League. But a win tonight would be nice just to get some confidence going into Saturday against Aston Villa. But yeah, loads of transfers to get into tonight. I've been at work the last couple of nights. That's the reason why there hasn't been any streams. But yeah, we've got a lot to get into tonight. There's potentially got an incoming in El Khannouss. Wout Faes wants to leave. Tom Cannon's potentially going. Samari to Monaco is a potential deal as well. Ben Nelson to Bristol City. Sammy Braybrook's going to Dundee, I think it is. So yeah, so much to get into tonight. Just before we do, make sure to go and drop a like, as I always say on the stream. Wout Faes leaving is not a big loss. If we can find a suitable replacement, it won't be, but no, there's not too long left. If that's Caleb Okoli, I don't know. Rene, welcome to the stream. Hope we can get Okoli to fate. Yeah, I just think, look, I think, if Wout Faes wants to leave, there's no point in being here. But at this point of the window, it's very difficult to. I don't think he'll go. I think it's far too late for anything to really materialise, considering the window closes on Friday night. But it's not good having a player. Obviously, these are only reports. You don't know if it's 100% true, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But anyway, let's get into some income. I think this is the only place to start, really. El Khannouss, or Bilal El Khannouss. This one's been a bit crazy over the past couple of days. If you're living under a rock, Leicester have seemed to put in about 3 or 4 different bids in for the Moroccan international. Genk have rejected a few of those, but it looks like the two clubs are now getting quite close to agreeing a deal. Obviously, this deal here, Leicester City, this is the latest. Leicester City have just sent a €23 million bid with 2 million add-ons, including a 15% clause on the future sale of Bilal El Khannouss. So yeah, Leicester are trying to do anything possible really to try and get this one done. We've got add-ons, we've got sale clauses in the future. Leicester are very keen to get this man through the door. Now, I'm not going to go too in depth on the player, but he looks to be quite an exciting attacking, creative midfielder, which is exactly what Leicester need. If you want to see what the player is all about, make sure to go and check out the stream on Saturday morning I did with Locks. But yeah, this does seem quite expensive to me. This fee is going to rise. I don't think Genk will accept it, but the two clubs are getting closer to agreeing a fee and agreement for the player. This would be Genk's record, sale. So I think that does tell you quite a lot. He looks to be an exciting player. The player looks like he wants to come to Leicester City as well. There was a report about him telling his coach that. So that's kind of reminiscent of a Wesley Fofana situation, which isn't always good. But as it stands, he clearly wants to come to Leicester, which is only a positive right now. But in a couple of years, if he gets an offer from the Big Six, he could well try and force his way out of Leicester. But that's still a long way away. He's actually here yet. Would it be our club record? It wouldn't be. I think that's still with Yuri Tillemans, but it would be quite high up on the list in terms of players coming in. There has been a report in literally the last couple of minutes on this one. So I'm just going to get this one up. I think this is from another Belgium journalist, so quite reliable. So yeah, an update. I'll just read the second part. Update on El Khannouss. Genk and Leicester approach agreement on amount of about €25 million, which is obviously quite high, just as we said, including realistic bonuses and the 15% resale value would mean club record for Genk. Not completely done yet, but now a story of detail. So yeah, I think this one will happen. Like I said, Leicester are determined to make this one happen. So I can't see Genk. I'll be very surprised if Genk, are rejecting 25 million for a young player. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But this one should get done. Fingers crossed we can agree fee tonight and potentially get him through the door over the next couple of days. Obviously, then we've got to sort out the contract, the medical, all that type of thing before Friday. But we just got to hope and pray that this guy's good, because this is kind of our last major signing, unless we get striker in, which is still looking quite unlikely. And at this point, I'm getting quite concerned by the fact that Leicester potentially are not going to get striker by the end of the window. I hope something can happen. I don't think it will be a permanent at this rate. I think our interest in Iadonis has now ended, so I think that one is off the cards. Could we go back in for Datra Fofana? Potentially, Armando Broja, that could be an option as well for Leicester City. Eddie Nketiah has gone to Crystal Palace, it looks like, despite obviously him being quite close to Forest. So lots of things can happen. But Leicester just need to try and make something happen now, because I still think we need a few people to come in. But it does look like a few people will be leaving Leicester City in it the next couple of days. But yeah, it looks like Bilal El Khannouss could be the next one in. Next up, then, I think tonight we should be discussing quite a few more outgoings and ingoings. Is around Tom Cannon. Now this one's caused quite the stir in the fan base, I think. Now, obviously, this was from yesterday, 6 p.m., so about 24 hours ago. From John Percy, LCFC transfer news: Sunderland have made a bid of around 5 million for Leicester City forward Tom Cannon. Norwich, Stoke, and Sheffield United also expected to make offers ahead of Friday's deadline. So, yeah, it looks like Tom Cannon could well be leaving Leicester on a permanent, which is obviously not ideal. But if he's not going to get game time, if Steve Cooper doesn't rate him, if Enzo Maresca didn't particularly rate him, is there much point of Leicester keeping on to him? I don't know. I know some people in the fan base are very annoyed of this. I'm not that annoyed. I'm disappointed, but I think if he's not going to be playing, there's not much point. The 5 million is quite low. Leicester will lose money, but with Stoke, Sheffield United, and Norwich all interested, that fee is only going to rise because of a bidding war. And obviously, with it being Championship clubs, this deal will be quite quick to happen. So if it does happen, hopefully Leicester can increase that fee up to around 6 to 7 million potentially. For Tom Cannon, and then hopefully can bring a striker in. But if Leicester sell Tom Cannon and then don't bring a striker in, that would be even more stupid. So I really hope Leicester are going to be smart about this and have someone lined up if and when Tom Cannon does depart to the Championship. But it will be a shame because he hasn't really been involved at Leicester much. He's had limited game time. But just like I said, if he's not, if the managers don't fancy him, is there much point trying to keep hold of him? I don't know. But obviously, we are very light on strikers. Obviously, Jordan Ayew came on Saturday and kind of played the striker role. Be interesting to see if Tom Cannon is involved tonight. That team news will be interesting. We'll talk about the Tranmere game a little bit later, but I'm expecting a load of changes. It'll be quite interesting to see who does play because there has been a few reports around some youngsters who potentially could be going out on loans, which is good to see. Yeah, let's get back into the chat. Make sure to let me know your thoughts. Don't understand why we sell Tom. I don't understand why we would sell him now. But if the manager doesn't rate him, just can't really do too much about it. Get the 7 million back for Tom Cannon and put it towards a new striker. I do agree. That's what makes sense, doesn't it? But if Rudkin has the brain cells to do that, we'll work out quite nicely. But yeah. Does this mean we either buy Datro Fofana? I'd hope so, yeah. We better do. In terms of striker, I think Datro David Fofana is the most likely to come in now because he still hasn't gone anywhere. Apart from that, Iadon is gonna, we haven't got long left now, and he's gonna be a big, it's gonna cost a lot. We've got to bring him over from Panathinaikos. That's going to be a difficult deal to pull off in that short time. So, in my opinion, Leicester may end up with someone on loan with an obligation to buy, or if we can get someone in cheap from the Premier League or the Championship potentially. But yeah, that's the way I see it right now. But yeah, let's move on then to some of the potential departures. Obviously, there's been quite a lot of rumours over the past couple of hours. Now, these are some of the players who could be going, according to Mr. Darren. I'm not too sure. But yeah, Leicester are ready to loan out a number of players before this week's deadline on Friday. Wingers Casey McAteer, defender Ben Nelson, and striker Tom Cannon could all leave for the Championship. And this is why I said the team news tonight is going to be interesting. I believe Casey McAteer will be involved tonight. Is Ben Nelson going to start a centre back? We don't know. And of course, Tom Cannon, is he going to be involved tonight? That's going to tell you a lot about the future of some of these players. But I think apart from Cannon, a loan for McAteer, a loan for Ben Nelson is absolutely perfect because they're never going to improve. Sat to the bench at Leicester. If we can get them a loan move out to the Championship, to League One even, give them some game time, and I think they'll go on leaps and bounds. So yeah, I think there's no reason why Leicester shouldn't be doing that as long as we have enough depth out wide. But as of right now, we do seem to have quite a bit of depth out wide. It'd be a shame for Casey McAteer not to obviously stay on, but is he going to get into the side regularly? I don't know. But then again, he did come on against Fulham for a bit on Saturday, which is obviously good to see. But in terms of Ben Nelson, I think you should definitely be trying to loan him out. Just like I said a few times, I think he's a really good player. He's got the potential to become a regular centre back for Leicester in the next couple of years. So I don't really see why we shouldn't look for that type of thing. Moving on to the next one then is someone a little bit younger who hasn't had as much game time as as Casey McAteer is Sammy Braybrook. It looks like he's going to be on his way to Dundee in Scotland, which is obviously good in my opinion. Once again, I don't think he's as close to breaking into the first team as someone like Will Alves. So I think a good move for Sammy Braybrook to go out there, toughen him up in the Scottish League. In my opinion, would be another good move for Sammy Braybrook. So yeah, I don't really see anything wrong with that as long as there's no obligations to buy or anything like that. If you can get some experience playing at a decent level, that's all you want from a younger player coming through our academy. So yeah, finally Leicester trying to make things happen, but I don't know why we leave it so late every year. But yeah, let's get back into the chat. Are we selling winger, defender, and striker Cannon gets on loan? Uh, in terms of sales, I think the only people who Leicester would sell now is probably Samare. Obviously, we'll get into that a bit later. There's been talk around Monaco, but I don't think that will happen. Tom Cannon, I think in terms of other sales, I'll be very surprised if anyone does leave Leicester on a permanent apart from them. McAteer won't go on a permanent. Wani Marcel won't go on a permanent either. So yeah, don't know McAteer. I understand the point. I think McAteer is kind of just on that edge of, is he going to be involved enough to keep him, or should we just loan him? It's that fine balance. But yeah, you are right, because if Leicester do get a ton of injuries, we are in a difficult position there. Because Wani Marcel got, I don't know if I'm making it up in my head, but someone just told me Wani Marcel's gone, but I don't think he has he? I think he's still on our books. McAteer played this season. I've started Nelson. Yeah. I think you need it's that fine balance there. But in my opinion, I think it's quite risky to put people like McAteer and Nelson straight into a Premier League game because, in my opinion, I don't think they are that standard just yet. But I think with the right loans and right progression, they definitely can be Premier League standard in years to come. But I think as of right now, it's a bit early. I don't think Steve Cooper's a big fan of. I don't know. From the way I see it, he's quite focused on getting experience in, which I don't blame him. With the likes of Deco de Barida and whatnot. So be interested. And obviously we've got players like Michael Golding as well. Obviously he hasn't really been involved in this season so far. He's been playing with the under 21s, which is kind of as expected. So obviously I've got that option, potentially loan him out, but I think that'd be quite stupid potentially. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see on the loan deals. Obviously they don't particularly take too long to get done, so that we could see a few players leave on loan on deadline day. But yeah, talking of Ben Nelson, the club interested in him is Bristol City, which I think would be a nice little move for him down there. It's a decent club. They've started the season quite well. If he can get regular game time, like I said, I don't really see any particular issue with these deals. Hopefully, Connor Cody will be back soon, which will mean we'll have some extra depth in the centre back department. But I think apart from that, I think we'll be fine in terms of defensively. It looks like Cooper is set on playing that back four system for the vast majority of the season. When Leicester play teams like Man City, Arsenal, and Liverpool, potentially we do switch to a back three. But yeah, I think centre back depth we are looking at all right as of right now. Sutar did leave us on loan for Sheffield United as well. So Ben Nelson could also be getting a loan to the Championship as well, to Bristol City, which once again, just like I said, good little move for him. Hopefully he can do well if that materialises, but I think it probably will. Yeah. Back into chat then, just before we move on. That Cooper's fault. If Fatu gets injured, who are we going to replace? Yeah. It depends really. You don't know how good these players are performing in training. Like Cooper may like a certain winger. Obviously, doesn't really seem to be too keen on Stefan Mavididi right now, which is a shame. But we've got Jordan Ayew who can also play out wide, which is an option which Cooper would definitely prefer over someone like McAteer. Yeah. If Vardy gets injured, yeah, exactly. And that's why it's so important Leicester City can bring a striker in over the next couple of days, because obviously we had Jordan Ayew who came on out wide, then moved to striker. It's never going to work if you got players who are going all over the field. Obviously, it's good to have people who are versatile, but you don't really want to be switching players' position every 10 minutes. And he came because played 10 minutes in and the rest of 10 minutes up top. It's not going to work. Assuming being bench Declan Reid and start McAteer instead. Fair enough. In my opinion, I start Mavididi over Bobby and put Fatu out wide. Good evening, mate. Great stream as always. Thank you very much. Yeah, the update on El Khannouss is that I think I'm saying his name right anyway. It's quite likely it is going to happen. Leicester have put in a few bids over the past couple of days. It looks like Genk and Leicester are getting close to an agreement. It looks like it's going to be about 25 million plus add-ons, plus a clause, a future sales clause. So yeah, Leicester kind of putting everything at this deal to try and make it happen. So I'll be very surprised if Genk don't accept 25 million, because for a team like that, that's quite a lot of money in it. So, and just like I said a bit earlier, that would be Genk's record transfer sale. So, yeah, bit of a risky one, but honestly, at this point, I would might as well. Talking of a potential sale, then. This is coming from Fabrizio Romano, so back onto the European scale now. Boubakary Samare, who has obviously it's been reported that he doesn't really want to be here. This report doesn't really fill me with any confidence that he's going to leave. Monaco wants Samare. He's on the list, but a current plan from Leicester is a loan with a buy option clause, which obviously does make sense. Leicester insist on that type of deal. Monaco are not wanting to do that. So it's one of them, really. Do we just offload Samara to get rid of his wages for a season? Maybe. Is that worth it? No. We need to sell Samara on a permanent if he's not going to be involved. But yeah, it's one of them, really. We're sat on it all summer. Nothing's really happened. We've got some type of interest from Monaco. Obviously, there was, I think he was rumoured to go Monaco last season as well, or the season before that, and nothing happened then. So it's one of them, really. But it doesn't look like Samara can have a future at Leicester. So potentially we do loan him and then hope Monaco go in for him. But it doesn't seem like Monaco are interested on an obligation to buy. But yeah, you never know with these type of things. There could be another club who comes in from Europe, and potentially goes back in for Solari. But yeah, as of right now, it's going to be an interesting one. Now, moving on. This one absolutely baffles me. I'm probably going to get rant. It's time for a rant. Leicester have bid for another goalkeeper, according to Alan Nixon. Now, this is Kaminsky from Luton, who's he's not a bad keeper, but do we really need another goalkeeper for £10 million? 10 million for a backup? It just seems deluded to me. Obviously, it doesn't say the 10 million here, but I've looked at the report and it is. So yeah, I honestly don't have a Scooby Doo while Leicester are doing this. I hope it's fake. But yeah, why Leicester are bidding for another goalkeeper, I don't have a clue. Obviously, there was interest earlier in the season with Sam Johnston as well from Crystal Palace. So this keeper rate Hermanson, I don't know, but so far this season, Hermanson's been absolutely fine in my opinion. So, but 10 million for a backup keeper does seem quite extortionate. He's not a bad keeper, but it's just I don't really get it. I don't. It's not our priority right now. I'd rather spend 10 million on a striker than a goalkeeper. In terms of Thomas Kaminski, I believe he's just like I said, he's not bad. He had experience. He played 38 games last season in the Premier League for Luton, which is always good. 117 in the Championship for Luton Town. But is it at the top of Leicester's priority right now? Absolutely not. So I really hope that one doesn't progress. But knowing John Rudkin, I wouldn't be surprised. So yeah, that's that one, boys. Don't have a Scooby Doo while Leicester are doing that. Why another goalkeeper? Exactly. To keep Ward Company on the bench. Or hopefully Stolarczyk's back soon, but we don't know about that one. Maybe now we can get rid of Danny Ward. Yeah, that's true. But should we Leicester be spending 10 million? No. Luton are going to pull our pants down if we spend 10 million for a goalkeeper, in my opinion, who isn't 10 million. But yeah, that just seems pretty ridiculous to me. But yeah, boys. That's all the transfer news. We pretty much smashed through that in the 20 minutes or so. And obviously, Leicester City are playing tonight. That's why I'm doing a stream a little bit earlier than usual. Tranmere in the cup once again in the second round. Is it an important game? I don't really think so. Do I want us to win? Obviously, because it's good for confidence and you want to be winning games, and it would give us that extra boost going into Aston Villa on Saturday, which is obviously going to be a very tough game. But this is how I think Leicester could potentially line up tonight. I'm expecting wholesale changes. Now, this I just did this quickly, so there could be some players missing who I haven't thought about. But yeah, this is the kind of team I go with. Danny Ward in goal. We don't really have a choice. Ricardo at right back. I think he has to really start, considering he hasn't been involved. Same with Caleb Akoli. I've gone with Ben Nelson, but if he moves close to Bristol City, I don't know if he'll play. Luke Thomas at left back. I don't think he's going to be going anywhere right now, so I think he's going to be involved. I'll go with Steffi on the left. Obviously, hasn't been involved much this season, so important to give us some minutes. I've gone with Skip to play midfield. Probably the most, the player who's going to be involved the most at the first team to start in this game for me. Alongside Hamza midfield, just to rest the rest of the players. Casey McAteer on the right. I believe he will be involved tonight. I've gone with Will Alves in this kind of attacking role. I don't really know where to put him really, but I think we should just give him some game time. This could well be Buonanotte just to get his fitness up, but I believe Cooper will heavily rotate. And I've gone with Jordan Ayew up front because we don't have any other strikers. Assuming Tom Cannon is off, I'll be surprised if he plays tonight. But yeah, if Tom Cannon is going to stay, this could well be Cannon up top. But this is the way I see Leicester potentially lining up tonight. This team should get the win quite comfortably, but you never know. You never know, Leicester. It's got all the minerals of a cup upset, in my opinion. But to perfectly honest, I don't really care about tonight's game. It's one of them really. No one's going, so yeah, it's one of them. Also, score prediction. It's 2-0 Leicester. I'd say just keep it simple, clean sheet, get us into the next round. Obviously, the top six go into the third round, so we'll probably end up with one of them away from home as always. But you never know. If Leicester get a favourable draw this season, potentially we could go on another cup run. We always seem to go quite far in one of the cups, no matter where we are in terms of the league campaign. Obviously, I think we got to the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup a couple of years ago. Went out to Liverpool last season at Anfield. Obviously, last year we had a decent run in the FA Cup as well, getting knocked out in the quarters to Chelsea. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Leicester go far. Obviously, it depends on the draw quite a lot, but that team on paper should get the win pretty comfortably. But you never know with League Two opposition. Obviously, I think we beat Tranmere 2-0 last year as well. Obviously, that game was at Prenton Park, which was a decent away day. But yeah, I think tonight's just about more minutes. It could well be a pre-season game if let's get an early goal. But the most important thing, just to get some confidence and give us our first kind of win of the season. But I think a win today, if we can pick up something against Aston Villa, I think that would represent a decent start to the season. But after Aston Villa, that's when the season really. That's when it really kicks off. Because as of right now, we've got a team who's probably not going to be the team we play for the vast majority of the season. We've still got players to come in. I don't know why Leicester have seemed to leave it late. Obviously, the market changes, but I said it before the season. The first three games were really important, and so far we got 1 point, which isn't awful. But it would be nice sitting here potentially, with 2 points on the board, potentially even four if we, got a bit more luck against Tottenham. But yeah, it's one of them really. But if Leicester can put in a good performance against Villa, we can go into that big game against Palace. The Everton games after that, hopefully. Far in and hopefully picking up some of the first win of the season, which is obviously important to get out of the way. Let's have a quick look on Twitter just to see if there is any other transfer news. But apart from that, it's pretty much that. In terms of team news tonight, then I've just seen something. Ben Nelson looks to be involved. So does Will Alves and Chris Popov as well. Who could potentially start up top. So I think that tells you a lot about who could be involved tonight. So Ben Nelson looks like I'd assume Ben Nelson will start. Will Alves, will he start? I don't know. I did see Fatawu on the video of the players coming in as well as Luke Thomas, Caleb Akoli, and Casey McAteer. So yeah, I think the team I just put on screen is pretty accurate with what it could well be tonight. But it's important to give these youngsters a chance playing at the King Power. Hopefully they can put a good performance in and get Leicester into round 3 of the Carabao Cup, which is what we want to do. But yeah, as far as that, boys, I think we've pretty much wrapped everything up. If you've got any final thoughts in the chat, make sure to let me know. If you've got any other questions, any particular players you want Leicester City to bring in, feel free to let me know. In terms of content, next 2 nights, Saturday, there won't be a stream because I'm working again. But Friday is obviously transfer deadline day, so I'm going to be streaming. I think I'll do 2 streams throughout that day. I'll do one afternoon and then one later on towards deadline day. I think is it 11 p.m. I think it officially ends. So yeah, I'll try and stream as much as I can on Friday. I still think there'll be a lot of business for Leicester on Friday night. Could be a busy one. Hopefully, no repeats of the Sensi deal. no repeats of the Adrian Silva deal. We can just get people in on time and hopefully strengthen the squad. Potentially 2 more people to come in. I'm hoping, and if we can do that for reasonable prices, I wouldn't say it's been a great window for Leicester, but at least we would have players in who can obviously make an impact. Obviously, it would be much better if Leicester was sat here with someone like Hozlakin, Wilfred Zaha, and a load of other players. But that's the situation we are in right now, and I guess that is how it's going to be for the season. Potentially, Leicester can reinvest a bit in January. But I think it's added importance to get people gone now. Loan deals, potentially a few sales in there, just to try and balance the books a bit, because the squad right now in certain areas is too big, but striker is too thin. So it's just that fine balancing act, and it's going to be important a few days for Top Rudkin there, Martin Glover, the board, all the people around the transfers at Leicester City Football Club to try and make this right, because if we don't manage to get another 2 players in at least, if this El Khannouss deal falls through, we are going to be in a very difficult situation going into the rest of the season, because we're seriously lacking creativity, a striker, anything really. So support we do that. But anyway, boys, thank you very much for coming in. It's much appreciated. Hopefully Leicester can get the job done tonight. If you want to put your score predictions in the chat, feel free to let me know right now. Just like I said, I'm going to go 2-0. We don't know the team, but I'll go with a who's going to score? Stefan Mavididi, if he plays, and Will Alves, first goal for Leicester tonight. Fingers crossed. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see, boys and girls. But yeah, thanks for coming in, and I'll see you on Friday for the big transfer deadline day stream. It should be a good one. See you then. Up the city.